Alrighty, so time to go over my January recipe. Time to see if I can recreate it or was the first time just a fluke. So first we have the udon bundle, easy. We have a tablespoon of dried mushrooms. Use twice as much if you're using fresh portobello mushrooms. Um, Here we have the calliope six spice mixed in with the calliope chili spice. Um, I've gone over the calliope six spice before, so I won't get too deep. But the chili spice is a mixture of chili de arbol, guajillo peppers, and ancho chilies. Here I have a tablespoon of soy sauce. I have 2 diced radishes and a diced green onion. See, I have some fresh basil leaves here, I got from the garden. Here I have the juice from 2 cara oranges next to some zest. Here I have jasmine tea and also the flower buds from the basil plant that I'm gonna use later. And then I have about 66 grams of pork. You can use 50 to 75 grams of cubed pork or cubed meat, whatever. And also 2 cups of water for the soup base, and then however much water you need to boil down the noodles. Alrighty, so first things first, let's get the noodle water nice and warm. Then gonna pour the water, 2 cups, into the pot here. Next, gonna turn the heat on to medium. And we're gonna wait for it to get up to a nice kind of little bit of a boil. Alrighty, looks like it's starting to get up to temp. Let's get to cooking. So first things first, we're gonna take out the ingredients we're not using yet. So we're gonna save these 2 for later, the zest and this. Alrighty, so first things first, I like to add the liquid ingredients first. So we're gonna start with the orange juice. Boom. So the reason I like to do that, we'll see, we gotta stir it. Here we go, stirring in the orange juice. All right, next I'm gonna stir in the soy sauce. Boom, that's all the liquid stirred in some. Cool, this allows all the liquids to kind of homogenize first before adding in the solids. Because if the solids are put in there, they get a little bit in the way. There we go. Cool. Now that that's done, we're gonna start adding in the fun stuff. So let's add the calliope six spice. We're gonna add the basil. The mushroom. The pork. Woo! Splash. And then the veg. Radishes and green onions. Alrighty, we're gonna let that cook down for about 15 minutes, give or take. So anyway, over here with the udon, I'm gonna stir it a bit. I use chopsticks to stir it. You wanna keep the noodles from attaching to each other while they cook. It's not as bad with udon, but I learned this messing around with somen, which I need to make a recipe for actually, but that's a whole nother video. Cool. Stir it a bit so the ends don't clump together. Cool. Alrighty, now that the noodles are al dente, we're gonna strain them and rinse them. Now normally you don't rinse off pasta because you want the sauce to stick, but we're making udon, and udon needs to be rinsed generally. Alrighty, make sure you rinse it off with some cold water. This stops it from cooking longer while we get the soup base ready. Now, another crucial thing you got to do when you're doing these soup bases is you got to skim this scum, like that little bubbles, off the top. That does affect the flavor. Yeah, get that out of there. Yeah, look at that. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the heat down to a simmer. And I'm going to let that cool down for 5 minutes now that 15 minutes has passed for it to cook. Now the timing on this is super duper important, and while I'm waiting for it to cool down is super duper important as well, because the jasmine tea has very delicate flavors, so you want to make sure the water is below boiling, because if you don't, it'll release more bitter compounds, the tannins. Cool, now that the water is no longer boiling, I'm going to strain the solids from it. Now we place the remaining solids into the bowl. Alrighty, so after rinsing out our pan, after rinsing out the pot of any stragglers, solids, we then put this liquid back in, and then we throw in the jasmine tea, because remember we're still simmering. We throw in the jasmine tea with the basil flowers. One-handed, let's go. And then we throw in our orange zest. One-handed bandit. Now we let that steep for about 5 minutes, and while that's steeping, we're gonna get these together. So how I like to do my plating with udon is I like to make sure all the solids are on one side, and then the udon is underneath. And then when the liquids are done, we restrain it again, we pour it in, and then add a little bit of garnish. Also, don't forget to stir occasionally on this part, so that way all the flavors can meld. Cool, now we give it one more strain. And now we salt it to taste, add the finishing salts. Then you pour in as much liquid as you want. Alrighty, and there we go. Orange jasmine tea udon, served with a slice of Cara Cara orange. Beautiful.